You just got pulled over for a ticky-tack traffic violation. The officer walks up to your window, takes your license and insurance, and goes back to his cruiser. A few minutes later, he walks back, but instead of just handing you a ticket, he leans in and says the words that change everything. "Hang tight, I'm calling a canine unit out here." Your heart starts pounding. You aren't carrying anything illegal, but the second you hear drug dog, something goes off in your brain and you freeze. What you say in the next 60 seconds will completely determine whether you drive away free or whether the cop gets you out of the car and starts tearing your entire vehicle apart. I'm Aden, the people's lawyer, and in this video I'm going to give you the exact words to say to get out of this trap, coming directly from a United States Supreme Court case. But first you have to understand the trap. When a cop says they are getting a drug dog, it is not a legal order. It is a pressure tactic designed to make you so uncomfortable that you do their job for them. The officer has finished the ticket. The traffic stop is legally over, but he doesn't want it to end because he wants to search your car without a warrant or probable cause. He is counting on you to make one of three massive mistakes. The first mistake is saying, "Go ahead, officer, I've got nothing to hide." The moment you say those words, you just gave the police legal consent to search everything, and they can use anything they find, even something a passenger left behind months ago, against you. The second mistake is just sitting there in silence waiting. That drug dog might be an hour away, and every minute you sit there without objecting, the law considers you a volunteer who agreed to stay. The third mistake is getting nervous. You start fidgeting or sweating, which is a normal human reaction, but the officer will write that down as reasonable suspicion to justify holding you. Here is the secret the cops hope you never learn. In 2015, the Supreme Court decided a case known as Rodriguez versus United States. The court held that police cannot extend a completed traffic stop, not even for a few minutes, to wait for a drug dog unless the officer has independent, reasonable suspicion of a separate crime. The moment the ticket is handed to you, the stop is over, and you have a constitutional right to leave. And do not think you are safe just because you are innocent. A Chicago Tribune investigation found that drug dogs were wrong 56% of the time, and for Hispanic drivers, the false positive rate was over 73%. A study out of UC Davis even proved that dogs often alert just because their handler thinks there are drugs present. Under the case Florida versus Harris, even a false alert gives the cops the legal right to rip your car apart on the highway. So, what are you supposed to do? You must record the interaction and use these exact magic words. The very first thing out of your mouth must be, "Officer, are you detaining me right now or am I free to go?" This forces the cop to make a legal commitment. If he says the stop is over but you still need to wait, you say, "Officer, I do not consent to any searches. Am I free to leave?" If he tells you that you are being detained, you respond with, "If that's the case, I do not consent to any searches and I refuse to answer any further questions without my attorney present." The officer will likely push back and ask, "If you have nothing to hide, why won't you wait?" Your response is, "Officer, I'm merely exercising my rights and that's not evidence of anything." Remember, the fight is in the courtroom, not on the roadside. Knowing these words is the difference between driving away or watching your car get destroyed. But what if the cop doesn't call a dog, but instead leans in and says, "I think I smell alcohol"? That trap is even more dangerous, and I break down the exact response you need in my next video, so click right here to watch it. I'll see you over there.